Hey, I'd like to welcome you to the Synergy Synopsis presentation. My name is Bobby D, and I will be your host through this brief talk. 3 goals that I have in communicating with you today. Number 1 is I want to establish the strength and credibility of Synergy, the company. Number 2, I'm going to provide you with the overwhelming science and health benefits of their flagship product. And thirdly, toward the end, I'll talk about the timing and the great opportunity that exists thanks to some trends emerging. Now, before I get into that, full disclosure, I had no interest in doing anything. I'm in the financial business for 31 years. I also do some other stuff on the side. I have a youth video service company for athletes. No interest in looking at Synergy until this gentleman here, Dr. Ed Esposito, good friend of mine. He's a chiropractor of 20 plus years. Dr. Ed's got 5 kids of his own, so we're always talking about kids and how our kids can benefit, blah, blah, blah. He tells me about Synergy's flagship product and says, you got to take it. Your 2 kids have to take it. And the reason why I listen to Dr. Ed when he talks, well, the dude beat cancer many, many years back, and he did so without chemo. He refused chemo. He's just a brilliant guy when it comes to nutrition, health, wellness. He told me about the Synergy product. Of course, I started taking it. And then when I realized, man, there was an opportunity attached to it, we just took off. So let me get started. I said first I'm going to talk about the company, so let's do that. Founded in 1999 by Dan Higginson. They operate in 28 markets worldwide, owned by Nature's Sunshine, which is a publicly traded company. By the way, Nature's Sunshine, first company ever to encapsulate herbs. Pretty impressive. Debt-free company. I always believe it's important to take a look at, the whole scope of a company. I don't believe if you're going to do something, get involved in anything, that you just, take a look at a brochure. You look. I flew out to Utah. I toured the facility. I went to their headquarters. I went to their manufacturing facility. You want to see proof that the company really is what it's projected as. You see stuff like this? This helps. 2013, they were listed in Forbes' most trustworthy companies. This is a very big designation for a direct selling company. In fact, if you see, it was the only direct selling company to be listed in the year 2013. A member of the DSA, a Better Business Bureau accredited company, and the number one reason why Synergy and Nature's Sunshine stand alone in the field is right here, their manufacturing facility. And boy, is it an impressive tour when you go out and see it. They hold 17 patents as a company, 14 clinical studies, and they employ 18 biochemists. I want to show you this 40-second clip, which will illustrate the overwhelming and unparalleled quality control that Synergy and Nature's Sunshine employs.
We travel the world to acquire the best ingredients, and then it all comes here to be tested and processed. When it comes to ingredients and raw materials, we're very picky. Every year, each vendor is screened and audited. The raw materials are tested for potency and contamination when they arrive. If anything doesn't meet our standards, it gets sent back to the vendor at their expense. This standard ensures that we get the first and the best pick of the crop, leaving our competitors to fight over what's left. We have 4 full-time labs dedicated to testing raw materials and all finished products. We run over 600 tests.
Did you hear that? 600 quality tests are done from the time the stuff comes in as raw materials to when it gets packaged and sent to the customer. It's incredible. They are GMP certified, they are TGA certified, and NSF certified. What do those mean? Well, GMP is a designation that is required for drug manufacturers. Nutraceutical companies do not have to adhere to them, but they chose to adhere to those standards. The Australian government is widely known as the strictest designation in the world. Well, Synergy holds that TGA designation because they sell their products in Australia. Very strict area of the world. And NSF certified, if that'll be important for athletes. That means they can be audited at any time. They can lose their designation at any time. That means there's no banned substances anywhere throughout the facility. So this is why Synergy boastfully says we really don't have much competition when it comes to the supplement business. And I love this little tagline that they have, We don't guess, we test. And they guarantee. It's important to emphasize because 85% of supplement companies don't make their own stuff. And this is the education that I got going out to Utah. I was like, wow, I mean, think about it. We buy stuff off the stores, and I'm not going to name any store, but do we really know what's in it? Do we know if it's tested 600 times for accuracy and quality? Probably not. So this is why Synergy, again, makes a huge statement out the gate and says, yeah, we dare you. We dare you to compare yourself with us. Now, let's look at problems. Now, before we start, obviously, I want to make a very important point. Synergy does not, right? We do not intend to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. We're just going to talk about some problems here. And these are some biggies, right? Think about heart disease, cancer, respiratory, stroke, Alzheimer's. These are just 6 of the top 10 causes of death in America, and the numbers are staggering. Heart disease at the top. Now let's look at a breakthrough. The Nobel Prize, been awarded since 1901 to the person that's offered the greatest benefit on mankind in the preceding year. Pretty significant deal. Look at the X-ray in 01, insulin in 1923, penicillin in 1945. I bet you very few people know that in 1998, the Nobel Prize was given for the study of nitric oxide in the body. I didn't know this. I'm sure most people don't. Here's the guy that won it, Dr. Lou Ignarro. And I read his book. I read it all in one sitting. It was fascinating. He basically studied how nitric oxide is what he calls the body's own wonder drug. It's the body's miracle molecule. And in his book, as you can see the title, he talks about how nitric oxide can prevent, even reverse heart disease and strokes. And by the way, a plethora of other things. Now, again, do your own stuff, and I'm sure most of you will. Just hit Google and hit nitric oxide. And these are some of the things that you're going to find. This isn't Synergy-related material. This is Google. This is the internet. And obviously, not everything is believable. We get it, all that nonsense. And again, nobody's diagnosing, treating, or preventing any diseases. But do your own homework and Google nitric oxide, and this is what you'll find. One positive thing after another, and then not just helping in one area, helping in so many different ways. See, with my own personal experience, I'm going to give you my experience. I was introduced to nitric oxide because of this. I wanted something, and I was told that if you take a nitric oxide supplement, that it's great before a workout. So that's all I knew about nitric oxide, that it gives you a little boost. I had no clue of all the other benefits that I since come to learn since getting introduced to Synergy. Here's where we're going to start talking about the ingredients. Key ingredients. See this right here? This L-arginine. Okay? Look at some of the stuff. Elevated nitric oxide levels boost production of testosterone. So again, this is what I was thinking. Well, testosterone, supercharging my workout, enhanced nitric oxide production drives optimal muscle growth. This was the stuff I was interested in, having no clue that everything else that you just read about and are going to learn more about come to fruition with the proper amount of nitric oxide in the body. Now, this slide here on the right, I have no clue what that means. Most people probably don't. That's for someone that is much smarter than me. That's for like a doctor, PhD, scientist, chiropractor, right? That's impressive for him. On the left side is what I want to emphasize, because we talk about the simplified diagram of the arginine-citrulline cycle, right? And that's where we're going to talk. L-arginine, L-citruline cycle that helps the flow of nitric oxide. Okay? The reason we bring that up is because, boom, introducing the flagship product of Synergy, their MVP, Pro-arginine Plus. What are the key ingredients in Pro-arginine Plus? You guessed it. There it is. L-arginine, L L-citruline, pomegranate, and red wine drinkers. This one look familiar? Resveratrol. Also a proprietary patent-pending blend of antioxidants and vitamins. L-arginine plus builds upon Nobel Prize-winning science. Clinically proven to rapidly increase nitric oxide in the body. Okay, so now, let's talk about some credibility of the product. We started early with credibility of the company. Let's do so with the product. All right, how about this? The physician's desk reference. L-arginine plus is the highest quality L-arginine supplement in the world. A person can take L-arginine plus to the doctor and say, hey, doc, can you look this up? And there it will be in the physician's desk reference. It's updated annually. It helps physicians with legally mandated information relevant to writing prescriptions. It's widely available in libraries and bookstores. And you can go online. Go to pdr.net, type in L-arginine, and you'll get exactly on the screen what the doctor has on his desk. Pretty cool. This one is a game changer. Most nutritional companies do not do clinicals. Well, this company does. In 2009, the High Desert Heart Institute did a landmark study on L-arg. Let's take a look. The subjects. All right, now take a look here. You're going to get a look at the average age was 68 years old, and there were 33 patients, and look at the things that they were suffering from. All right, we're talking folks that had some serious health-related challenges, okay? So these folks were given a 90-day protocol of L-arginine, okay? And each patient was given 10 grams in the morning, 10 grams at night, and this lasted for, like I said, 90 days, and these were some of the tests done, okay? Now take a look. The results, Dr. Siva. Dr. Siva, again, this is not Synergy's doctor. This was a health, the Heart Health Institute doctor. He said he expected a marginal improvement in the symptoms. And what we ended up seeing was remarkable. Positive remodeling of the heart. Positive pulmonary artery changes and pulmonary vascular changes. That's pretty wild. Take a look. These are just some. There were 37 key medical markers that were improved in the blood for 32 of the 33 patients. One patient checked out 2 months in, didn't like the stomach, just had loose stool, so she decided to leave. So 32 people stayed on, and look at the numbers. The results obtained were over and above those of maximum pharmacological and medical management, according to Dr. Silva. Just amazing. Second to none. It's the most comprehensive human clinical study ever conducted on a nutritional supplement. I'm going to say it again. The most comprehensive. Not the second most, third most, fourth most. The most. How about third-party validation? Okay, jump on PubMed.gov. Type in nitric oxide. If you do that, you will see 168,154 scientific research papers available to read through on the benefits of nitric oxide. How about just L-arginine? Just go ahead and put that in there. 124,766 results. Third-party validation out the gazoo, as they say. And how about this for the kicker? Look at this. You are not misreading this. 120-day money-back guarantee. Synergy is so confident in their products that they say, hey, take it for 4 months. If you don't like it, you get all your money back. I remember we used to sell a healthy energy drink maybe 10 years back, and we used to boast about their 30-day empty can money-back guarantee. 30 days we used to boast. Here, 120 days, unheard of. So I'm going to ask a couple of what-ifs. What if nitric oxide really did what we said it did here in this presentation, and the 200,000 or so research papers claim that it does in their databases? What if that all was true, and nitric oxide did all this stuff for the body, wouldn't you consider trying a product for $1.14 a serving if it's purchased in a jumbo package? A product that's clinically proven to rapidly increase nitric oxide. Wouldn't you try it? Wouldn't you think of, wow, not only will I try it, but I know this person, that person, or this person, family members, friends, who I know they're taking a certain medication. I know they have this kind of ailment. I know, right? We all know so many people that are. What if you knew someone taking multiple medications? And what if you told them about L-arginine and they came off one of them? What if? Do you think they'd be excited and thankful that you shared it with them? If they came off 2, maybe 3 medications? Again, Synergy makes no claims, but what if? And again, I'm going to phase into the business end of it. So if you were just interested in looking at the L-arginine product, we're done with that. My next phase, you can step out. If you want to stick around, I'm going to talk about the timing, because I don't know if there's a better opportunity with the trends emerging that you're going to see in the next few minutes of this presentation. Because we're talking about an untapped market. Now remember, look at this. North America, tiny slice of the pie. Why, you say? Well, let's go back to Dan Higginson, the founder of Synergy. And very important to discuss where he came from. I don't care if it's a church you're going to, a baseball organization. You want to know what's going on at the top down. You want to know where the guy, gal, where they came from, what their standards are, right? So let's talk about Dan, because I think it's very important. Dan in the 90s, as a guy in his 20s, went to work for Stephen Covey, a very famous author, counselor to businesses. So what was his job? Dan Higginson's, you say? Yeah, he was a $6 an hour gopher. That's how he got started with Covey. Very quickly had an opportunity to start answering phones in the sales division. And in no time, they started to realize that he was bringing in 10 times more revenue than the rest of his team combined. So obviously, Dan went places pretty quickly. They elevated him to the executive excellence level. And his job there was to interview some of the most successful people in the world. Think about that, right? So every day he'd get on the phone and he'd get tips from all these greats. Pretty decent, right? So now he gets what he feels is a quote-unquote demotion. Dan gets the assignment of interviewing 22 network marketing companies and their folks. And he's like, network marketing. I got to go steep down to those guys. Really had a bad attitude. Thought it was thought probably what a lot of people still think about network marketing. They think it's shady. But by the way, it's not true. But this is what the perception of most people have. So Dan was no different. Well, lo and behold, what came of that was after studying all these companies, Dan realized, man, I could do this on my own. And he picked up little bits and pieces from each of these different companies and started Synergy in 1999. What he did, though, is he went to Japan and opened up out there. Biggest, very, very open to the wellness products, a big network marketing culture out there. People that love nutraceuticals. So he does $10 million in Japan. He's hot and moving. He's flowing into other countries. And then Nature's Sunshine comes in and says, Dan, we'd like to buy you. We'd like you to stay on as the CEO, but keep your focus internationally because we have many products in the United States. You do your thing, we'll do ours, and we'll be one happy family. Dan says, great. Now, fast forward to 10 years. As you can see, Dan's got a beautiful family. His priorities, his family. In 2008, he steps down as the CEO to help raise his kids. He wants to be at all their games, baseball, soccer, whatever it is. So he basically checks out and does his thing. Now, up until just recently, talking less than a year, Dan's kid, his daughter's now married. His son is a senior in high school. and Dan's back in the game. Not only is he back in the game, but it's as if it's brand new again. Because now the United States has the green light to be blown up, and Dan is here. This is obviously a picture of me when I went out to see Dan. I met this gentleman. This is Dr. Sandberg. Dr. Sandberg is the guy that told Dr. Ed about Synergy. So now, here I am, wanting nothing to do with anything. Days later, I'm in business with some heavy hitters. Dr. Sandberg, clinical nutrition guy, another chiropractor of 23 plus years. And I'm also locked arms with the founder of the company who said, Bob, anything you need, I'm here to help. Pretty cool dynamic. We did the what if with the product. So what if you knew? Do you know a chiropractor? Do you know a nutritionist? Do you know a trainer? Do you know a doctor? Do you know a sales guy, a real good personality? I mean, what if you knew one of these folks and you turned them on to this L-arginine product the same way Dr. Ed did to me, or the same way Dr. Sandberg did to Ed? What if? Now check this out. There's a bunch of different ways to get paid in the company. I'm not going to go through them all because we can do that on a private setting. I'm going to just talk about one phase of the comp plan. It's called the Mega Match Compensation Plan. It's the only company that I've seen in my lifetime with this type of plan. Basically says you earn a dollar for dollar match up to 100% of all basic commissions earned by someone you introduced to Synergy. If they earn it, you earn it. So if you bring Joe and he earns $10,000 in basic commissions, you get 100% match. Now, I'm telling you, most in the industry, it's 10, it's 15, maybe 20. 100 is absurd. It's unheard of. Dan Higginson put it in the plan 20 years ago he knew. He studied, right? He studied 22 different companies. No one has this. I'm going to have an edge. And sure does he have an edge. So, here's my point. What if you were the one that told Dr. Sandberg about Synergy, right? And then you decided that you're going to sleep on the couch for the rest of your life. But because you told Dr. Sandberg about Synergy, you can sleep comfortably, because if Dr. Sandberg goes out and he makes 50 grand in basic commissions, you get 50 grand in basic commissions. So what if you knew one person who had the ability and desire to share the product? 7 total ways to get paid. I just wanted to share the most exciting one. We can go into specifics on a private setting. As I wrap this up, this is a parallel business with a one-time cost of $24.95. What do I mean by parallel? You don't have to stop what you're doing. Sharing a link, sharing a product is not something that you have to change careers. You do it with what you're doing now. You get a marketing website that translates to 28 countries. It's a proven 20-year system of training and support. It's not something new. You hear startups are great, right? Ground floors are great. But man, when the company's not ready, it could be a nightmare. It could be a nightmare. And talk about ground floor. This is a ground floor in the United States. I'm telling you, I sent about 150 feelers out. Hey, have you heard of L-arginine? And there was only one person that heard of the product in my network of folks. No one knows about the product yet in the United States. Tax advantages of being in a home-based business. There's also, it's attracts successful-minded people. Successful people like to be involved in stuff that has, a good feel, good, but without, hey, no pun intended, synergy to it. It's like, hey, I got a good product. I got good peeps that are representing it. Got great manufacturing. It attracts successful people. It doesn't deter people. And how about this? What do you have to lose, man? 120-day unheard of money back guarantee. Now, social media is a difference maker, right? You see people today, you can post a picture of you taking the L-arginine. You could open up a market that way. You can go on Twitter and say, oh man, I just tried this L-arg. It's amazing. Like that. Think about it, right? Social media is a whole nother animal. But let's discuss this, and as we wrap up, why you hate network marketing and why most people hate it. And validly so. Most people hate it because there are a lot of unscrupulous companies out there. This is a fact. Only 1 in 311 multi-level companies survive after 3 years. So you have every right to be skeptical when the guy comes along and says, hey, you have the right. Overpriced, underwhelming product or service is another one in network marketing, right? Well, I think we poo-poo that, don't you? How about this one, the overhyped presentation? Now you're probably saying, no, Bob, you're overhyped. I'm trying not to be. But how about the guy that just the infomercial? Man, let's stick to facts. If you're going to be involved in products, can we stick to science? Can we stick to real data and not hype? Too much hype in the network marketing industry. And this is the biggest one. People say they don't have time. Well, man, listen. Do you have time to send a text that says, have you heard of L-arginine Plus? No? Great. I'm going to have Bobby send you some info. You have time to do that, don't you? You have 10, 12 people that you could send that text to, right? And what if they get involved, you're not doing anything, you're that guy sleeping on the couch, all of a sudden you plug them in to this group of folks that are willing to do the educating, the training, the motivating, the support. We're willing to do all that because we're all in. You don't have to be all in. You could be half in. In closing, you want to have the 5 pillars in place if you're going to get involved in an opportunity. You want to have an exceptional product. You want to have a strong, reputable company. You want to have solid leadership. You want to have a rewarding and unique comp plan, and you want to have timing. Put all those 5 things together, and man, anything can happen. Now, I see a lot of people that they go to companies with 2 or 3 of those. Now you want to have them all, man. And then I'm going to ask you in closing to have trust in 3 things. Number 1, trust in the company. I think we've proven through what I've showed you today that this company is the real deal. I want you to have trust in the product. I mean, hard not to. Science, clinicals, right? Manufacturing facility, hard not to. And lastly, trust us. Trust the folks that are now involved in helping promote the product. I think you can kind of get a sense that we're all in on this. Trust those 3 things. Give the product a shot. Give us a shot at helping you get the word out. And man, what if this can be something, the last stop for you? What if this can be the place where you can really share an amazing product? By the way, the company has 30 other products. We didn't even talk about any of them. Just talking about the flagship. What if you could feel comfortable sharing something that you know confidently it's going to help someone, and then maybe it can go viral, and you can make finally you can be with a company where you're going to make a solid residual income because people are going to continue to consume the product. Thanks for listening. I hope to hear back from you. Let's do it.